What's up guys, it's Aaronitmar, and today we've got a brand new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate leak to talk about. Unlike most of the other leaks, this one really seems possible and seems real. So this is your last chance. If you don't want to be spoiled, click away in 3, 2, 1. You have been warned. So this was posted on somebody's Snapchat story. I believe it was a video and then this has sort of been stitched together. But this was posted on somebody's Snapchat story and we can see that of course it has the big "Everyone is here" banner in pretty much all of it. So it's showing that this is the final roster supposedly. We can see that in the image there are a few characters that have not been shown off yet. And this leak is pretty unique in that it's an art leak rather than gameplay or a trailer or anything like that. That typically is how leaks happen, is they're showing the gameplay, versus this is just straight up art. So there's a possibility this is false, but it does seem very likely, but we'll get into that in a second. So the characters that have been added that we have not seen a reveal for yet are Shadow, Banjo-Kazooie, Isaac, Ken, Mach Rider, Gino, and the Chorus Kids. Some people have seen other characters in here, and that's mostly just due to this being a really tiny, blurry picture. But these 7 are the 7 that everyone is pretty sure are the actual characters that are different in this leak. It's hard to say just because this is a stitched together Snapchat video, but it does seem to look that way. I haven't seen any other characters. Some people thought they saw Cosmos, but it ended up just being a weirdly shaped cloud. Some people said the Mii fighters were missing, but they ended up just being clumped together instead. So it does look like these are just the 7 that are the new characters. So that is the leak, but we are nowhere near done talking about this because we want to talk about the validity of this leak. So if you see up in the top left corner, he tried to cover up something in his image or his video, and he did a very poor job because people quickly found out that he was covering up his name, and his name is Eric Bricard. People then of course took to the internet and found an Eric Bricard on LinkedIn, and it turns out that he works for a French printing company, and they found his LinkedIn, which is now private, but he refers to one of his references as Bandai Namco, which of course is the developer of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or at least one of them. They work in tandem with Sora Limited, Nintendo, and all that. So this French printing company specializes in manufacturing cutouts and banners for different types of media advertising. So it would make sense that whoever leaked this, so assuming that they work for this company, do have their hands on this type of media, because they would print it out and use it in kind of promotional sense, give it out to game stores or retailers, things like that. So it would make sense that they have this. On top of that, the Grinch in the corner also seems like something that would be used in media advertising. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas is a movie that is coming out soon, so it would make sense that they would be using something like that to advertise the movie, and also it would make sense for a company that does this to have that sort of lying around. So it kind of relies a lot on whether or not that Grinch thing is also real, because if that's real, then we know that this is a legit French printing company, and we know that what they're printing is presumably all legit. On top of that, a huge flag is that we have the blank battlefield artwork shown in this leak. We have actually never seen that before. That is the backdrop for the characters for the "Everyone is here" banner. Because the characters all shift around when a new character is announced, they're all on their own layer, which means the bottom layer needs to be the blank backdrop, and it's very telling that this printing company would have this battlefield blank artwork, because we've never seen that before. So it would be very hard for a leaker, or a fake leaker I should say, or an artist to recreate that, because that would be a huge undertaking. So if they were just sent it from Nintendo, that would make so much more sense. On top of this, we would have 5 newcomers in the series. Banjo, Isaac, Mach Rider, Geno, and Chorus Kids. Shadow and Ken, of course, would presumably be Echo Fighters. Koro recently said that we were going to have 108 stages, but then quickly reverted to 103 in a future issue. 5 newcomers would presumably have 5 new stages, which means that would bring it up to 108. Shadow and Ken obviously wouldn't get stages because they are already part of an existing franchise, but Banjo-Kazooie, Isaac, Mach Rider, Geno, and Chorus Kids are all previously unrepresented in Smash, and so I would assume that they would get their own stage. So of course that would bring us to 108, which kind of gives this even more kind of logical evidence, although it's not any kind of hard evidence. The character select screen would be 6x13 with these 7 characters left. It would be a perfect square, and so that's just kind of more evidence, I guess. I don't really consider that evidence, but it's something that people are including, so I went ahead and mentioned it. But that doesn't really seem like a big deal to me, because if you play with the Mii Fighters on Smash 4, it's not a perfect square, so who knows, but that doesn't seem like the biggest evidence. And finally, people are referencing another post that was made on 4chan. This was just a simple text leak, but it got every single character right, and it got no extra characters and nothing wrong, really. It said that Shadow and Ken are Echoes, Isaac, Chorus Kids, Geno, Mach Rider, Banjo-Kazooie are in. It mentioned a couple of characters were cut, and then it also mentions a couple of things like Taboo, Necrozma, Crazy Hand are bosses. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of worth mentioning, but I wouldn't consider that fact because we don't know that this is related to the actual leak. So we're only going to focus on the roster, but I just thought maybe it was worth a mention. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that this leak entails. We've got 7 new characters, we've got the blank battlefield artwork, we have a very strange linked chain to an actual printing company that does do advertising printing. It is very likely that this leak is real. And if it's not real, if this is somehow all an elaborate hoax, then whoever made this leak really deserves the props, because pretty much everyone, I think, believes that this is a very, very strong leak. But of course, I would love to know what you guys think about this leak. I gave my opinion, but I would love to know yours. Do you think that the link to the LinkedIn, which then brings us to the French printing company, is just kind of incidental or not even real? Or do you think that it's actually a very, very strong bit of evidence? Unfortunately, of course, this image is very blurry, so that does leave a lot of room for error. So even if this is a fake leak, because it's blurry, it's very hard to tell one way or the other. It's not like we got the full raw upload. We got a very blurry Snapchat video, and then someone like sort of cropped the 3 halves together, or the 3 portions, I guess, and put it as one image. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of incidental. A lot of leaks end up being true that are blurry like that. So who knows? Personally, I think it's real, but I'd love to know what you guys think. And then, of course, I'd love to know what you think about the actual roster. You know, there's the leak itself, and then there's what the leak says. I mean, the last 7 characters, 2 of them are pretty wild picks. Mach Rider and Chorus Kids. Those always just seem like such wild, out-of-nowhere picks. But Mach Rider, I guess, sort of fits the NES wildcard thing. We've got Game & Watch, we've got Duck Hunt, we've got Ice Climbers. So Mach Rider would be a really cool rep for that kind of character, sort of the old school style. And then of course Chorus Kids just seem like, every time a leak would say that, it always seemed very, very unlikely, but it does seem like that's the Chorus Kids, and if this is real, then we're getting them in the game. So I'm curious how they play. But the rest of the characters seem like such big ones. Banjo-Kazooie, Isaac, Ken, and Shadow. And then of course Geno, which is probably one of the top picked characters to be in Smash, alongside probably Banjo. So I don't know, like, it just seems like this is too good to be true, just because it's all of these highly picked characters at once. On top of the fact that Sakurai said we shouldn't expect too many newcomers. So I'd love to know what you think about the actual roster. And if this is our final roster, what do you think of it? With all that said, though, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe, because as we get closer to Ultimate, more and more content is going to be coming out, so you don't want to miss a thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, and I hope you have an awesome day.